Mr. Shultz was the first foreign official to visit France since the recent election. And even though there's been a complete change of power from socialist to conservative, relations with the United States are expected to remain much the same. And there's still a socialist president in the Elysee Palace, which was the Secretary of State's first port of call. After his meeting with President Mitterrand, Mr. Shultz said they discussed a wide range of issues, from the economy to defense.
We talked about the upcoming Tokyo summit, President Mitterrand's visit to the United States on the 4th of July as we renew that great symbol of liberty, the Statue of Liberty. We discussed our mutual determination to deal effectively with terrorism, with our relationships with the Soviet Union and arms control. As you can see, a broad range of topics, and it was a most worthwhile exchange.
After Paris, Turkey and Greece, and it's in southern Europe that most of Mr. Schultz's energies will be concentrated. The agreement, covering 4 US military bases in Greece, ends in 1988, and the Greek government has said it wants the Americans off its territory.
Turkey clearly wasn't taking any chances with the Secretary of State's safety, and security measures at the airport were extremely tight. During his 4-day visit, Mr. Shultz also has security on his mind, but of a different kind. He's come to talk about defense and looking after America's strategic interests in southern Europe. The United States has several military bases in Turkey, and US intelligence relies heavily on its secret listening posts, which eavesdrop on Soviet communications. The posts were moved to Turkey from Iran 7 years ago after the fall of the Shah. But the Turks extracted a high price, some $700 million annually in direct American aid. And they're asking for a further $1.2 billion, as well as easier access to the American textile market. In return, it's thought they may agree to accept more US military bases, perhaps relocated from neighboring Greece, whose socialist government wants to be rid of them. So Mr. Shultz has some tough talking ahead before going on to Greece and Italy.
Sharp economic disagreements were kept under the table. The United States on one side, Turkey on the other, and between them, the future of an important defense cooperation agreement. Secretary of State George Shultz came to negotiate the continued use of 25 strategic military bases. Facing him, the Turkish Foreign Minister, Vahit Halefoglu, with demands that the United States pay more for the privilege. $600 million in annual aid is not enough. Turkey wants the figure doubled. But the question of aid is not the only stumbling block. Although this speech was friendly, Shultz has publicly and angrily disagreed with Turkish industrialists who want a bigger share of the United States textile market. The economic grievance came up again during talks with the defense minister, Zeki Yavuzturk. Turkey wants to improve its economy through trade as well as aid, but the repeated demands have left US officials pessimistic. Shultz is expected to leave Ankara without a pact, leaving lower-level diplomats to try and settle the issues.